A very good afternoon. Welcome to your stocks in the Mumbai News Center. I'm Nigel D'Souza. With me is Sumaira Abdi. And Sumaira, nothing new. Yet again this afternoon at the low point of the day, things not looking too good. The Nifty sitting with a cut of around 30 points. From the high point of the day, we've given up close to around 70 points. So that's not too good news. And just take a look at some of those heavyweight stocks. HDFC, that's the big culprit in the last 1 hour or so. That stock has moved to the low point of the day. Mahindra and Mahindra, pull up that stock. It's taken a bit of a knock in the last few minutes. And from the banking space, a lot of banking stocks are selling off. But Bank of Baroda in particular, that stock in fact has got a bit of a whack. So that one as well has moved to the low point of the day. And take a look at Z Entertainment as well. That stock as well has taken a hard knock. Remember, all these four stocks, they're coming in from different sectors, and yet they're taking a knock. But the mid-cap space as well is taking a bit of a pounding. So you take a look at Bata, seems to have lost its shoes in the last 1 hour. That stock has moved to the low point of the day. Pull up another stock, Bharat Forge as well. That stock as well has been selling off in the last just in the last half an hour. So some news coming in with regard to Pascon as well. I think he just made those comments, and that's why that stock in fact is higher by close to around 7.5%. But the mid-cap space on the whole not looking good at all. Pull up United Breweries as well. That stock was running away yesterday. Currently, in fact, that stock has moved to the low point of the day, Sumaira.
Yeah, but you know, Nigel, I think we're pretty much in line with what's happening globally as well. Yeah. I mean, we've seen Asia close also with similar cuts. Europe has opened a bit on the back foot as well. So I guess no surprise that we're closer to 77.50 now. But let's get started then with your stocks. Our two experts are here with us. Mayuresh Joshi of Angel Broking joins in to answer all our stock queries. And we have Nikhil Kothari of Erica Wealth Management, who's our personal finance expert. Gentlemen, thanks to both of you for joining in. Our first query is coming in from Farzana Borbiwala, who's on the line with us from Mumbai. Hi Farzana, how can we help you?
Hi. Yeah, I have bought Spark at 1,000 shares at 550.
All right.
I am a long-term investor. So I want to know whether I should hold, because there's some US FDA permission which has not come through yet. Will that affect the script?
Okay, so Mayuresh, she has bought Spark for the long term, and really this is a stock, you know, which over the last 1 year has performed quite well actually for investors. But US FDA issues are something that, you know, it's not unique to Spark. It's for most of the pharma sector anyway. So what's the outlook on Spark for someone who's, you know, looking to be in it for the long term? Is that the way to go?
Afternoon, Sumer. I think clearly as a disclaimer, we don't cover Spark, but whatever I cover of Spark, I think it is a very time-consuming process. So clinical trials going through various phases, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, it takes its own sweet time. And again, I think the monetization of once the molecule is ready with the patent approvals, I think that market size which is addressable for that specific molecule needs to be addressed at that point of time. Yes, Spark did give a wonderful rally in the year gone by, but clearly I think it is still backing the 5 molecules that it has developed. Lactanopost, the last molecule that it had developed, it outsourced it to Sun Pharma, where it sees decent opportunities. So I think the way forward for Spark through its two divisions, the novel drug discovery division and the new chemical entities, how these products go through their clinical stages and how monetization can happen. But I think the time constraints and the time approvals required for all these approvals to take place and the monetization is an unknown factor. So unless the investor has a really long time horizon of more than 2 years or 3 years, she can probably hold on to the stock. Else, I think what we really like from the pharma space is Aurobindo Pharma. A good set of numbers. Again, the acquisitions of Actavis and Natrol have worked in its favor. It's more than a couple of $1 billion companies in terms of top line. 80% of its revenues are driven by formulations. The management is very, very hopeful in terms of a lot of ANDA applications coming through. 379 filed, 201 approvals received, 18 injectables expected to come through over the next 2 years. And clearly, I think in terms of valuations also, I think the stock is reasonably priced with the kind of approvals it has received over the past few weeks. So clearly, I think as an alternate in the pharma space itself, Aurobindo is something that we are liking on declines with a target of 872 over the next 12 months.
All right, then maybe consider a switch is what Mayuresh was saying from Spark to Auro Pharma. But just pull up some frontline stocks from the Nifty itself. We're seeing BHAL, that stock is moving towards the 200 mark, so watch out for that one. And IndusInd Bank as well was already down close to around 1%. Currently that stock has lost a quick 0.5% in the last 5 minutes, and it's moved to the low point of the day. When that graph in fact expands, you'll see the stock has taken a bit of a knock. And Mahindra & Mahindra, as we speak, the stock has lost 4.4%. Tractor sales yesterday were definitely disappointing. Well, that stock has got some after effects, I think. It's down close to around 4.3% as we speak. Watch out for the mid-cap index, almost moving into the red as well. But our next query is in. So we have Radhika Manshrekar, who writes to us from Karnataka. She says that she can invest 3,000 rupees per month in mutual funds. Her time horizon is 5 to around 15 years. Nikhil, let me come across to you. She's 35 years old. How can you help her?
Yeah, considering that her time horizon is 5 to 15 years, she should look at equity as an asset class because we know that in the long term, equity and asset class will beat all other asset classes and can give her a handsome return. She can expect around 12 to 14% post-tax return on her portfolio. Considering that she wants to invest for 15 years, I'll say that you can recommend two equity funds, one in the large cap space and one in the mid cap space. On the large cap space, she can look at Birla Sun Life Frontline Equity Fund. The fund is there for last 10 to 15 years and done very good. On the mid cap space, she can look at Miri Asset Emerging Blue Chip Fund. This fund has been there for last 5 years and outperformed the category as well as the peer handsomely. So she should divide this money in both this fund to 50-50%. Consider that in next 10 years, if she continues this 3,000 rupees SIP, in 10 years she will have around 7 lakh rupees, and in 15 years this portfolio will turn to 15 lakh rupees, assuming 12% post-tax return. So she should continue the SIP in these two funds.
All right, Nikhil, that makes sense. But we'll come back to our queries in just a bit. For the moment, okay, I think we need to focus on the market because it's taken a tumble for the worst. So the Nifty has actually slipped below that 7750 odd mark. Right. Now seeing a cut of nearly 0.6%. The mid-cap index has moved into the red as well. And the Bank Nifty has now taken a tumble of about 300 points almost. So let's see who are the big culprits here. SBI, for one, is a stock that you should pull up because in the last few minutes, it's seen some aggravated selling pressure along with other banking names like IndusInd Bank. We also have the likes of Bank of Baroda, which I think should now be sitting at the low point of day. So these are stocks which are taking a turn for the worse. L&T, another heavyweight on the Nifty, has lost about, I think, more than 0.5% in the last few minutes or so. That's seeing a cut of about 1.5%. Power Grid is another stock that's on the losing trajectory. In fact, as we speak now, you should also look at Bank of Baroda because that's losing ground pretty swiftly actually. Along with that, the likes of BHEL, we have NMDC, which could move into the red now. Z Entertainment is another one that's losing quite a bit of ground. Nigel, anything more that you've picked up?
Sumaya, if you just take a look at the mid-cap space, and we started off the show, it was holding in the green. Take a look at a few stocks from all across sectors. So you pull up something like a Cadila Health, that stock has come in for a whack. You have Union Bank as well, that's down close to around 6% as we speak. And Diwan Housing, that stock did so well last year. Take a look at what's happening currently. It's down in trade. In fact, it's down close to around 3%, and the banking stocks are really selling off. So even you have something like a Canara Bank that's moved to the low point of the day, and DLF, remember, it started well in the green. Currently that stock as well is trading in the red, so not looking good at all for the frontliners or even for the mid-cap stocks.
All right, so let's do one thing. Let's take a break for the moment, but as we do that, we'll leave you with some news that's coming in from the 55th annual SIAM convention that kicked off in New Delhi earlier today. Our correspondent Shweta Kothari caught up with Sumit Sahni, the CEO and MD of Renault India, and began by asking him whether their new launch, Quid, will be a game changer.
Quid, as you said, is definitely going to be a game changer in the mini segment because it's a very attractive car which comes with a lot of innovation in this segment, and it's going to be affordable. So we've already shared that this car will be coming in the range of 3 to 4 lakhs, which is the entry level for mini cars.
Right. And what would be the exact prices? You've not revealed the prices, we know. You've given a bracket of 3 to 4 lakh. If you could perhaps spill some beans on what the price will be.
At this stage, I can't, get the cat out of the bag.
Right.
But yes, it's going to be, as I said, 3 things. Very attractive, very innovative, at the same point of time, very affordable. So we want to bring the value to our consumers here in India. And to do that, we have worked very hard on this product. And we will be launching Quid in India with 98% localization at the time of launch. So you can imagine, that it will bring a lot of value to Indian consumers.
All right. Now, with 98% of localization, are you therefore planning to export Quid into international market when it hits India?
Yes. As we did our global reveal in May, the global reveal of Quid was done in India. and it is the first car coming on CMFA platform. So there are opportunities, and definitely we want to leverage every export opportunities out of India for Quid.
So, given that it is 98% localized, how confident are you that it's going to do well as far as international market is concerned?
See, first of all, whether we talk about Indian market or international market, the key mantra for success is right product at right time at right price.
Right.
So I think Quid, meets all these requirements, and it is a very innovative game changer product. So I'm very confident of Quid, not only in India but in all the markets outside of India also.
CNBC TV 18, celebrating 15 years of leadership.
Welcome back to your stocks on CNBC TV 18. The Nifty is still down a good 30 points as we speak. Power Grid should be the stock that comes up for you. That's been the recent casualty. So that one's lost close to around 3.5%. 1.5% of that fall has come in the last few minutes. But there are some stocks that are putting in a bit of a fight. So you pull up Idea. That stock has pulled back up. It's sitting with a gain of close to around 3%. Markets have been fairly wobbly, but Idea is doing quite well. ACC as well is doing quite well, and giving it companies, the other big cement stock, Ultratech Cement, both those two stocks putting in a bit of a fight, and the big boy has to be ITC, holding with a gain of close to 2%, and that's what's really preventing the Nifty from falling apart, and it's helped the Nifty pull back close to around 17-18 points from the low point of the day. Watch out for that stock. A bit of a jump is what we are seeing in the last couple of minutes. But let's get back to your queries. We have Abhishek who's standing by. He has a personal finance query. Hi Abhishek.
Hello.
Hi Abhishek, how can we help you? What's your query?
सर मैं एक चीज जानना चाह रहा हूँ आपसे.
Yes. बोलिए सर.
मैंने HDFC की 50 लाख रुपए की टर्म प्लान पॉलिसी ली थी.
ओके.
मैं आपसे जानना चाहिए HDFC के अंदर सेफ रहेगा या उसको LIC के अंदर कन्वर्ट कराऊं प्लान?
Okay. All right. Nikhil, is this possible? He's got a life insurance from HDFC. He wants to switch it around to LIC, and also he's just taken it, I think, around 4 to 5 months ago.
Okay, so I will answer in Hindi for the viewer benefit. See, term insurance is सबसे अच्छी insurance है, and you should only buy term insurance because इसका जो sum assured है वो काफ़ी बड़ा होता है और जो premium pay करते हैं वो काफ़ी कम होता है. जब भी हम term insurance लेते हैं, we should look at the lot of features. So feature में हमें देखना चाहिए कौन हमें maximum tenure के लिए देता है. कोई term insurance 30 साल के लिए देती है, कोई 35, कोई 40 years के लिए देती है. So go with one which is giving a maximum tenure. एंड सेकंड थिंग हमें देखना चाहिए कि हमारा और एड ऑन बेनिफिट क्या है. एड ऑन बेनिफिट्स आर लाइक ADB राइडर, एक्सीडेंट डेथ बेनिफिट. तो इफ यू डाई नॉर्मल डेथ यू गेट सम एश्योर्ड, बट इफ यू डाई थ्रू एक्सीडेंट देन यू गेट 1.5 times or 2 times the sum assured. And then there is something called waiver of premium, that if you are diagnosed with any of the critical diseases like cancer, bypass surgery, then you don't have to pay any more premium, and your policy continues as it is. So when buying a term insurance, you should look at all these features and then go for the policy which gives him all these features and the premium is the lowest one. So now a lot of people say that should I move to LIC and not go with private. There is nothing like that you have to go with LIC and not with private. The only thing one should remember is that when you are buying an insurance, you should make sure that आप जो भी details fill कर रहे हो, all the details should be correct. There should not be any mistake in the details, and you go through a comprehensive test. So they do all the testing, medical test before buying insurance. So अगर आपने सब कुछ सही लिखा है, if you're not misrepresented anything, if you're not hidden anything, then no company will reject your claim. So it's a misnomer that I should only go with LIC and not go with private. If you are true to what you have written, if you have written all the things what is they have asked you, if you have gone through all the medical tests, no company will reject your claim. So you can continue with HDFC. आपको ऐसा नहीं कि आपको LIC लेना पड़ेगा, but आप ये ध्यान रखिए जब आपने HDFC लिया, आपने सब इन्फॉर्मेशन करेक्टली फिल किया है, तो आपकी कोई भी कंपनी आपका क्लेम रिजेक्ट नहीं करेगी.
All right, Nikhil, thanks for that. Up next, we have Ranjan Kumar Ghosh, who's called in from Mumbai. Hi, Ranjan. How can we help you?
Hi. I have taken certain BPCL shares.
Okay.
At 942.
BPCL.
842. Sorry, 842.
Okay.
Yeah. And also LNT 100 at 1540.
Okay.
SBI average 249 at 100.
Okay.
Tata Motors about 100 around 329.
329, is it?
And yes, and MCX 100.
Okay.
At all, of course, assortments at about 961.
Okay.
A few days back. after the crash. I just wanted to know which all should be hold and which all should be quit.
All right, fair enough. Mayuresh, I hope you had a pen handy. You were jotting down the names. We've got BPCL, L&T, SBI, Tata Motors, as well as MCX.
Afternoon, Sumera. So clearly, I think out of all the stocks mentioned by the investor, most of the stocks are going through some pain. So for example, Tata Motors has clearly seen the impact of the Chinese slowdown play on its volumes. And clearly, I think the kind of new launches expected will have a toll in terms of how the depreciation expenses come through on the balance sheet. However, I think the modular strategy that Tata Motors is working with, along with the Chinese plant, the Chinese JV operations, I think that will have some impact when it comes to improvement in operating leverage. And the domestic business is also holding up. So yes, I think most of the negatives in Tata Motors, in my opinion, are largely factored in. So clear hold on Tata Motors. Similar in the case of State Bank of India. Clearly, I think within the public sector space, this bank is held up. The advances are a little bit on the slower side at 6.8% for the quarter gone by. However, I think if one looks at its core strengths, the CASA and the fee income, that has been quite resilient for State Bank. And looking at capital adequacy with a simple comparison check with the other PSU banks, this stands out within the PSU universe. So clearly, I think a hold on State Bank of India as well. Our own target stands at 307 over the next 12 months. When it comes to L&T, again, I think a behemoth in the Indian infrastructure stroke engineering space. And though I think hydrocarbons showed significant improvement in the quarter gone by, the engineering services and the execution improvement thereof will determine how the fortunes of L&T go forward. So clearly, I think we are very, very optimistic in terms of how the balance sheet growth will pan out for L&T. And if you look at an SOTP valuation, including the subsidiaries, including L&T Infotech, its real estate arm, L&T Finance, our own take is that a price target of 2,000 not ruled out over the next 12 to 15 months. MCX, unfortunately, I think we don't cover the stock. And again, I think the kind of volumes that you've probably seen on the commodity side, I think it is a pure play on how the volume activity pans out and what kind of regulatory actions that MCX is surrounded with, the developments thereof. So clearly, I think one needs to wait and watch on that stock and probably take financial advice on what is to be done on that one.
All right then, so maybe Tata Motors, that stock we were talking about, just take a look at it. It's pulled back from the day's low. It's pulled back close to around 1% just in the last 20 minutes from the time we started off the show. It's making a bit of a fight back and pull up the mid-cap index as well. That's doing quite well as we speak. It's moved into the green, so a few stocks should come up for you on the screen. Sept is one stock that I was tracking. That stock's doing quite well. Apollo Tyres as well. That stock has come in for a bit of a fight back, in fact, and you have Eicher Motors, that's higher now by around 1.2%. So that stock as well is trying to fight for the mid-cap index, and that's why we're seeing that the mid-cap index has moved into the green. In fact, all tire stocks are doing well. JK Tires as well should be up for you on the screen. Stock has gained close to around 1% just in the last 20 minutes. Pull up JK Tires, Sept as well as Apollo Tires. All of them have been doing quite well in the last 20 minutes at least. Slip into a short break, come back, answer all your queries. Stay tuned.
CNBC TV 18, celebrating 15 years of leadership.
Welcome back here with your stocks. Our two experts are with us and we have a few queries also handy. Anirudh Dayal has written to us from Bhopal. He says he has 50 shares of Glenmark Pharma at about 1,049 rupees and he wants to know whether he should hold on to the stock or sell. So he's making a bit of a profit over here, Mayuresh, but just this morning a lot of brokerages have actually highlighted some of the risks for this stock. How would you advise a retail investor? Should he remain invested? Is there more upside?
So clearly, Sumera, from a valuation perspective, I think we're very close to fair valuations where Glenmark is trading currently. And out of the three regions that it caters to, US contributes almost 1/3. Posted revenues of close to $88 million, if I'm not mistaken. For the next 3 quarters, if it has to fulfill its foresight of 80 to 20% growth, it needs to clock in around $106 million in sales. The Indian domestic operations have held out pretty well. So I think 29% contribution to the top line, 18-20% growth exhibited. The rest of the world markets and Europe is where the cross-currency impact actually hit them the hardest. And the new launches that they did in the last quarter, I think that will yield them some incremental revenues to the tune of $30 to $40 million as well. However, I think valuations is a key concern for Glenmark at this point of time. So again, I think fairly valued. So alternate options within the pharma space would be Sun Pharma with a target of 950, which in our opinion, again at the current juncture, encapsulates most of the negatives in terms of resolution issues, remedial issues, the Halol issue that it is facing, and something like Adishman is well on declines, where we believe the numbers were good, and in terms of how the earnings will pan out, the EBITDA margin expansion should be quite significant, with contribution happening from CRAMS, vitamin D business, and even their carbogenamses business.
All right, then, so that's the view coming in on a few frontliners. Take a look at Sept. We were spotting that stock some time ago. It's higher by close to around 5%, moving to the high point of the day. And Apollo Tyres as well, keeping in step. In fact, that stock as well has spiked up. Something's going their way, it appears, because both these two stocks have spiked up. And you can throw in there Adani Power as well. Suddenly, that stock has done quite well, moved to the high point of the day. So watch out for some of these stocks in the mid-cap basket. They appear to be doing their own thing. But let's get to our final query of today. We have Prasenjit Bishwas, who writes to us in Kolkata. He can invest 30,000 rupees per month in 5 to 6 different mutual funds. His time horizon is 6 to around 10 years. Nikhil, come in here. How can you help him?
Yeah, Prashanjit, since your time horizon is 6 to 10 years, then I will say that invest in equity mutual funds. Instead of investing in 5 to 6 funds, you can broadly look at 3 different funds. One in the pure large cap space, one in the large and mid cap space, and one in the mid cap fund. So in large cap fund, you can look at ICICI Prudential Focus Blue Chip Fund. It's a pure large cap fund. In large cap bias fund, you can look at Birla Sun Life Frontline Equity Fund, and mid cap fund, you can look at Mirae Asset Emerging Blue Chip Fund. All these 3 funds has outperformed their benchmark as well as their peers substantially in last 5 to 10 years, and you can just do 10,000 rupees SIP in all these 3 funds. Consider in next 10 years, this fund, if you continue this SIP for 30,000, you'll have roughly around 70 lakh rupees by the end of 10 years. And if you continue this SIP for next 15 years, you will end up having 1.5 crores in your portfolio, assuming 12% post-tax return in a composite portfolio.
All right, Nick. Mayuresh, thanks very much for joining in to advise our viewers. We have to wrap up on your stocks. Thanks for watching, and do stay tuned. Closing bell will take you through the last hour of trade.
CNBC TV 18, celebrating 15 years of leadership.